The Railway Skirmish is a mini-war that occurred a few weeks after the Dream Team SMP vs Lamberg War that threatens to immediately alternate and demolish the new boundaries set up in the aftermath of the Dream SMP's first Great War. And the Railway Skirmish is not fought over by nations, but by regular people. But who actually fought in this skirmish and what side are they on? So the people who are seen fighting in this skirmish are Tommy Innit, Tubbo, Satnap, Dream and Skeppy, with Wilbur and Ponk watching from the sidelines. The initial sides are Tommy and Tubbo on one side with Wilbur's support, and Dream and Skeppy on the other with Ponk's support. But Satnap is the odd one out, because throughout the entire skirmish, he went from fighting alongside Tommy and Tubbo to betraying them at the very end in favor of Dream and also for himself. During the Dream Team SMP vs Lamberg War, at the Battle of the Embassy, the Lamberg army is almost completely destroyed, as the Dream Team set up a TNT trap that nearly wiped them out. However, near the end of the battle and moving on to the next one, we can see that Fundy, the son of Wilbur, is seen kinda faded on the map, pretty much meant he is invisible. But why does Fundy have invisibility on? As the Battle of the Embassy rages on, Fundy made his way back from Lamberg to the embassy after he was blown sky high and falls to his non-canon death. Seeing that the Lambergians are sieged inside the embassy, Fundy suggested that he drink an invisibility potion, then sneak up into the power tower and knock the Dream Team off of it. But before Fundy's plan can commence, the Dream Team then decided to retreat from the power tower, making Fundy waste one of his potions. However, he later on managed to reposition the Dream Team in the right place to get shot by the other Lambergians. During the Railway Skirmish, there was a lot of negotiations that has been made in an attempt of both sides trying to be diplomatic in order to avoid more fighting on the Dream SMP. And among the items being traded is Spirit's leather, which was traded in by Dream to get his items back from Tommy. But who is actually Spirit before it was just a piece of leather? So Spirit is Dream's old horse that he tamed on May 5th, 2020. However, Dream's horse wouldn't last for long, as literally 3 days later, during the Storytime stream, Satnap, while traveling with Spirit, accidentally got killed by a skeleton, but he still managed to get the letter Spirit dropped upon death. However, he then accidentally crafted an item frame with Spirit's actual leather, and after screwing up that much, he then finally names another piece of leather as Spirit's leather, which it is not, and to which Dream still sees as precious to him, leading up to the Railway Skirmish. During the Dream Team SMP vs Lamberg War, the Lamberg Revolutionary Army and the Dream Team SMP Military Alliance battled each other across the entire Dream SMP, as both sides strive to achieve the final victory to end the war outright. And although initially the Lamberg army won multiple victories in a row, the Dream Team ended up ambushing them in a decisive battle. But could the Lamberg army win against the Dream Team in an even fight if they are never ambushed? Now, comparing both armies' strengths and weaknesses side by side, you can see that the Lamberg army is far weaker than the Dream Team in almost every aspect, except the numbers game. But when you consider that the people in the Dream Team are very skilled warriors, combined with their overpowered equipment, makes them almost completely invincible. So even in an alternate history, where the Lamberg army is able to get the Dream Team to fight on even and open ground, the Dream Team would still prevail over them. 1st of August 2020, the day after Dream made a final message for Lamberg to surrender, Tommy Innit logged on to the server and along with Tubbo, makes the final preparations for the big fighting day. Whilst doing so, they make their own threats and promises after Dream did his, but as Tommy and Tubbo left the warning inside Dream's house, the whole Dream Team logged on, forcing Tommy to retreat, with Tubbo being killed by Dream while trying to escape, and at the same time, losing some war material. After that, everyone gathered at the Lamberg embassy, where Dream placed TNT all over the place, to try and intimidate the Lambergians to surrender, but they won't budge, and soon the area around the embassy was blown up. As this back and forth continues, the cook shed was blown up in the process. After all of that, the Lambergians gathered at Lamberg as Wilbur made a speech to them. The day ended with the server already tasting what's to come on the following day of August the 2nd. Ever since Lamberg declared its independence from the rest of the Dream SMP, there always has been another nation that was its enemy from the start to its demise, and that nation is the Greater Dream SMP. But why was the Greater Dream SMP called that, and has it always been named that? Now, before it was called the Greater Dream SMP, it was called the Dream Team SMP Federation, as before Lamamberg was created, everyone pretty much ruled their own land in a country which was not canon yet, much like states/provinces governing themselves in a federative country. But then after Lamamberg was formed and the war for its independence was fought, Dream crowned Eric, a traitor to Lamamberg, as king of the Dream SMP, and thus at the same time forming the Greater Dream SMP. Now, although the people of the Dream SMP does not call the nation Dream SMP the Greater Dream SMP, the name is used by the fandom to refer to the nation that has the same name as the server itself.
Hello?
Skeppy?
You really thought that was gonna work? You thought just adding Quackity and you thought just him telling me random things was gonna convince me? What do you think I am, Tommy? Do you think I have like 0 brain cells? I have at least like 2. I'm smart. I can think for myself. I've gotten myself this far in. I'm about to be rich. So tell me, Tommy, do you want to do 2 discs? Yes or no?
Small S?
Small S. Small S. Small S. You never learn. It was S money. But you know what? You don't listen. You don't listen. You're a bad friend. And Tubbo's going to realize that eventually. He's going to leave you.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he is.
Because
He's going to realize
steal
that.
my discs.
He's going to realize that. And he's going to leave you.
Tubbo doesn't steal my
Bad Boy
discs.
Halo is loyal. He is my friend. I am loyal to him. We are good friends to each other.
Fuck.
You are a dick.
Whilst doing so, Dream offers Skeppy one of Tommy's discs for the letter. As Dream threatens to kill Tommy and Tubbo to get the letter from Skeppy, Tommy and Tubbo retreated to Lamamberg. After that, Skeppy invited Dream into a voice call, in which he said he took back everything he said of why Dream needed to go to war with Lamamberg, due to the situation Skeppy was in a few minutes ago. As they both arrived at Skeppy's house, the negotiations between Dream and Skeppy began. Initially, Dream wants Skeppy to give him the letter straight away before Skeppy gets something as well, because, well, he might get scammed. But the negotiations goes back and forth, as Skeppy wants something that is good for him in return. But then, as they leave Skeppy's house, Tommy and Tubbo attack Skeppy, thinking that the trade has already been done. But Dream hits them back. As both sides got into the same VC, Tommy told Dream not to give away one of the discs to Skeppy. But everyone has something they require, so there's gotta be some trades. Then Tommy tried to negotiate with Skeppy, but the talks went nowhere, with Skeppy refusing to talk, while Tommy tried to get Skeppy cancelled. After that fuckfest, Tommy and Tubbo then convinced themselves that if Skeppy traded Dream Spirit's letter for a number of discs, it would be easier to take the disc from Skeppy than from Dream, because they are built differently. And then Skeppy was told by Tommy and Tubbo to try and get Dream to trade for both music discs in exchange for Spirit's letter, but Dream only allowed one. After some arguments about the trade, Skeppy ditched the trade after being convinced that Tommy is fine with Dream keeping the disc and Skeppy with the letter. And then Tommy brings everyone into a VC with Quackity, who joined the Dream SMP on the same day when this trade happened. But Skeppy just left the VC and continued working on his house without Quackity being able to do much. After a while, Dream arrived at Skeppy's house again. They talked about why is Dream desperate for the letter and why the discs are important, but then they went back discussing about the original trade. And finally, after 40 fucking minutes since the trade is proposed, Dream and Skeppy quickly made their way to the Lamamberg embassy and do the trade. Near the end of the Dream Team SMP vs Lamamberg war, Lamamberg was on its last legs after the Dream Team SMP blew up the land within its walls and Tommy losing the duel to gain Lamamberg's independence, and it seemed inevitable that Lamamberg was going to be re-annexed back into the Dream Team SMP, but in the end, it was spared, as Dream accepted an offer of 2 music discs from Tommy to grant Lamamberg its independence. But why didn't the Dream Team just disband Lamamberg instead of letting it go? During this situation, the Dream Team SMP has free range over Lamamberg's future. However, Dream decided to take Tommy's deal, which was supported by 2 reasons. The first is that although accepting Tommy's deal and let Lamamberg free will go against the reason why the Dream Team SMP was fighting in the first place. However, while the nation is gone, the members of it remain, and they might start a new rebellion afterwards, which interferes with the second reason, peace. The Dream Team SMP is willing to fight at any time, but the spirit to fight is limited, and dragging a war longer than it needs to be would not be the right way to do things.